after 18 years, I'm kind of reintroducing myself back to the community.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think, though, without the videos, that I would have the progression. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because now people are starting to say, okay, Terry Mitro, yep, okay, I know who he is. Those have helped.
Good morning and welcome to yet another episode of the Coffee with Jason podcast. Today, Jason is jamming with Terry Mitro. They'll be taking a look at the industry with fresh eyes, new attitudes, and a winning mindset. Settle down with your closer's coffee and get ready to score some great insights with your host, Jason Harris. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
For freshly brewed discussion on automotive sales and marketing, this is Coffee with Jason. The Coffee with Jason podcast is sponsored by Closer's Coffee. For that full-bodied, rich, sweet flavor with a bright acidity, drink Closer's Coffee, stay caffeinated, and keep on closing. Find out more at closerscoffee.ca.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here with Digital Dealership Solutions. Hey, thanks for joining me on another episode of Coffee with Jason. Today, I have my guest, Terry. Terry, if you could just give us a quick intro, kind of who you are and where you're at and who you work for, and we'll just go ahead and get started.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. My name's Terry Mitro, born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And I spent my first 18 years here and then left after graduation, played hockey in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. And I just got back to town about 2.5 years ago after spending 18 years out west in Montana. Came back to work at Lake Superior State University doing their strength conditioning with their hockey program up there. And then I met this wonderful woman, and her dad happens to own a Buick GM Chevy dealership here in town. And I'm starting to get my feet wet in the sales industry, and I really like it a lot.
So you got sucked into the industry by marriage.
Yep.
Did you know that was going to happen when you signed on the dotted line?
No, and actually she didn't know that either. Yeah, she had no clue. I actually found an Indeed application that they needed a sales guy. I filled it out. She didn't know anything about it. 2 days later, her brother called me.
Oh, okay. So wait a second. I can get this straight. So you applied for a job at your father-in-law's dealership, yeah, and didn't put one together. They
he knew, like yeah, her brother knew, but she had no idea. Like, we thought we we're gonna have this whole month of August off. She's a teacher, so she has summers off. We thought we'd go to Quamanon Falls, the wineries down in Petoskey, this, that, the other thing. All of a sudden, I go, sorry, baby, our summer just got caught short. Your dad wants me to report Monday morning.
So when you saw the Indeed ad, were you just like, was it kind of funny? You were like, okay, I'm going to apply for this. It'll be kind of fun.
This is awesome. So I'm going to see what I can do. You know, I kind of needed a job at the time. So yeah, it all kind of worked out.
That's so cool. And Terry, one of the reasons I wanted to jam with you today is because you're new to the industry. And, you know, we were kind of talking about it earlier before we started this podcast. But, you know, I think for a lot of us, we've been in the industry for such a long time that I don't want to use the word jaded, but I guess we're just so accustomed to seeing certain things that we don't really kind of think of it from a different perspective, right? Because it's in front of us all the time. So, you know, you've spent a tremendous amount in time in hockey and, you know, training people and developing people and coaching people, and the importance of a team is just huge. I mean, you live and die by the team, right? So I'm curious, you've been in the industry now for about what, 4 to 8 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What have you seen so far? What surprised you? Let's do this. Give me 2 things that surprised you in a good way, and then 2 things you were kind of like, oh crap, we still do that.
Probably the first one that I've noticed, though, it's super competitive.
Yep.
You know,
you thought hockey was competitive.
Yeah, this is and this is good for me too, though, because you're right. It you know, if you come from a sports background, this kind of goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, though, Jason, I found out with the town, and with a lot of internet shopping.
Okay.
You got to try to sell yourself and try to sell your product as best you can.
Did that surprise you a little bit? Did you kind of assume like most people will just kind of walk into the dealership and do their research and shopping there?
Well, that's what I thought, because that's what I always did as a customer.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to buy a car. Let's go.
Well, and I think that's cool because you know what, a lot of people will say that, but then they say, you know what, but it's different in small towns. It's different in small towns. For everyone out there listening and watching, tell me how many people live in your town.
In the city itself, 14,000. The area, 30 grand. That's it.
So it's not a huge area. So it doesn't matter if you're a downtown metropolitan area or if you're out in a small town, people are still doing their shopping and researching online. So now, what are two things that you were kind of surprised that we were still doing, or like, wow, is that really a good thing to do? What were maybe two negative things you were taken back by?
Gosh, that's a good question. Probably the most popular vehicles as far as Chippewa County, our county, the popularity of the vehicles that we sell. So basically like Equinoxes.
Yep.
All-wheel drive, it's an affordable SUV.
Mm-hmm.
That would be considered our number one seller here in this town, where I thought maybe trucks would be.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably number one. The other thing is,
which is actually kind of cool, because did you know actually just in the last couple of years, SUVs are now going to outsell trucks.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been the case for a real long time.
Absolutely. Yep.
What other thing were you kind of surprised about when you got into the business?
Again, just how much video time and how much telephone time that you actually have to put in to get people through the door.
Okay, cool. So give me an example of that.
I think some of these vehicles now, the technology is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
But as a salesperson, if I don't sit in a car and try to figure things out on a daily basis, the customer actually can come in and know more about the car than what we do.
Yeah, you know what? That has been a phrase that's been used a lot in our industry, and it's actually something that kind of rubs me the wrong way, to be honest with you, right? Because really, what other profession would that be an acceptable thing, to say that the customer knows more about the product than I do? It's like, I work and deal with a lot of young sales professionals, and it's something that I find actually consistently that they say, and it's just like, well, then I just kind of ask the question like, well, why? I mean, we really do. To your point, though, we do have to spend a fair amount of time educating ourselves on the technology of the cars, not only the technology, and also the competitive segment of those cars, so other cars that the customer may be shopping or researching. I would agree with you. I think at this point in time in our industry, it is more important now than it has ever been for a sales professional to really know their shit. Like, they gotta know their product.
Absolutely. And there's such a wide range of trim levels that, for our area, the Yukon Denali really doesn't go like hotcakes. But you still got to know that Yukon Denali inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more buttons and gadgets and something like that than there would be in let's say, a terrain, for instance, or something like that. So, I mean, you got to bounce from vehicle to vehicle for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have to know your product. Yeah. So now I'm curious, because you spend a lot of time in professional sports, and I think there is a lot of correlation, and actually there are a lot of similarities in professional sports than actually the way that we should probably operate and develop out our team and our dealership. So have you seen some similarities between your background in sports and the dealership?
I have, but it's probably from more of a personal journey than actually playing, let's say.
Okay.
Everything that sports has taught me, working hard, proactive, because everything that you do as an athlete on the side, extra.
Mm-hmm. All that preparation, right?
That propels you.
For that game time, right? All that preparation.
You're exactly right. That propels you to stay a step ahead of not only your sales team, but also, again, staying ahead of your customers coming through the door. So having that inner drive to always want to be better and to get educated, work hard, all that comes from an athletic background, which is great, which I like then again with the sales industry.
And I find that actually to be kind of a great analogy, right? I mean, when you think about it, when we come into the dealership and a customer walks through the door, it's game time. Everything that I have trained on, every piece of information that I've learned, I got to put all of this together. The buzzard's gone off. I gotta go. I need to hit the ice. I gotta hit the sales floor. All right, and it's game time. I can't, there's not going to be enough customers through the door that when my opportunity is there, I got to take advantage of the opportunity. And when you got the puck, you got to run with it. Like you got to be ready. So I would agree with you. I don't see, I don't see actually enough of that going on in our industry. I don't see enough of this. I would say this mental, this physical preparation for that. When someone walks through that door, it is like, it's go time. And I see that you probably can bring a lot to that. That's just how you operate, right? That's what you've known for such a long period of time. Now, have you seen the difference between certain salespeople that embrace that mentality and the ones that don't?
Yeah, it's a wide range, that's for sure. Yeah.
Now, I would love to, because it is about mental preparation, right? And it's not just part of it's education, understanding the product, right? And then of course, another part of it is just literally getting yourself in that frame of mind, right? You can't let whatever happened that day or the argument you had with your wife or the crap that you dealt with hours before bug you. I mean, you have to, as a professional athlete, when you get on the ice, you got to leave all of that kind of at the door, right? You don't want to bring any of that kind of into your space. Right. When you were playing sports, was there anything that you did in particular to kind of get yourself prepped like that before you hit the ice, or what you coached on?
Oh yeah. As far as me being a goaltender, I mean, everything's visual. I mean, it's just mental vision, which is going to give you that, again, that preparation to, again, focus and, like you said, just try to put that smile on your face to, make yourself presentable. People like that. I think people feed off that. I mean, like I say, we have winter up here 9 months out of the year. Least you can do is bring a smile to the showroom, I mean, otherwise it's people think it's quite gloomy,
Well,
so, yeah.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, again, kind of going back to that analogy of sports team and how our sales team works is that I'm sure you've experienced it before. When you have a player that comes onto the team and there's just this level of negativity and they're not bringing it can get infectious pretty quick, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So when you had, what would you do when you had maybe another player or someone you may have been coaching or working with, have that kind of, I don't know, that rough or that bad day, or just that they're bringing the negativity to the, to the game? What would you normally do?
You got to almost counter that with just glass half full and be positive. Sit them down. If you need, somebody to talk with about the issue that's going on, but just like you say, just pat them on the back and, give him positive reinforcement, and hopefully he comes out of it, but generally, the more your players see the coach with a great outlook on life, come around. It might not be today or tomorrow, but eventually, that player will end up changing his mind and his attitude.
And I think that's a great example. And is that, as managers, we are the coach. We're coach, and we have to lead by example. All right. If we're having a bad day or we're bringing something, to the showroom, it's infectious to our entire team. So it's going to hinder ourselves. It's going to hinder their abilities. And, we have to continue to motivate our sales floor. We got to be that coach. Here's what I find in our industry is that we do a pretty damn decent job of training our sales team on the activities that are required to complete a sale, right? Or to service a car. We don't do a whole hell of a lot of coaching though. Like we don't really kind of identify individuals and work and develop them on an individual level, but really just kind of focus on the team level. The other thing I find also kind of interesting that is consistent in all professional sports, but for some reason we really kind of struggle in the automotive industry, is the measurable efforts. I mean, you were measured on everything, right? I mean, everything you did on that ice, they measured. So, I'm not a big hockey player, so I actually kind of want to know what are some of the measurable efforts that are real common in hockey?
Skating.
What is it?
Skating, if you want.
Okay, explain that one to me.
Well, you got to be a great skater in today's hockey game. Speed is a big factor with hockey right now.
Okay.
Puck possession is measurable. I mean, the more that you have the puck on your stick as a team, chances are you're going to win. So and also defensive zone. You got to be tough in your D zone, because if you're tough and you show extreme effort in the D zone, chances are the other team won't score. So those are probably the three, that I would consider.
That kind of translates over to the automotive space as well, right? Mm-hmm. Speed, especially I think today with customers, is something that they're looking for. I don't necessarily think the customer wants to come in for a 6-hour transaction, right?
Correct. Exactly right.
They have done, it's not like when I started in the industry that, we were the gatekeepers of information. So therefore people had to come to us, and it could take 6 hours because they did majority of their shopping and researching at the dealership. Okay. Yep. That's not the case anymore. To your point, you kind of said earlier, right? That people are coming in very well educated about the product. They've done a lot of their shopping online. They've done a lot of their research online. So, I think it's very safe to say that when customers are coming in, they're looking for, I'm not going to say a super speedy process, but a process that does kind of being a little quicker than what it has been in the past. Do you find that customers are looking to kind of, I want to do this a little faster?
We've gotten a lot of compliments on how we do things here as far as what you're talking about exactly. And then as far as myself, like you said, though, like if I know a person is coming in at 1:00 for a test drive, I already have the plate and the car warming up probably 15 minutes before they even get here.
See, there you go. All about preparation.
The back 40 when they get here, and it's, what I'm saying? It's just extra time. Yeah.
And then, I kind of think of like, puck possession, right? So it's like, we want the customers to feel in control, but we still need to give them some direction, right? Like, we don't want to force them down our series of processes, but at the same time, if we're going to assist in making this kind of a speedier process, we do need to give it a bit of direction, and no different than how we move the puck from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. There's a strategy behind that. So I'm curious to see, do you see some similarities and strategies that are in professional sports or hockey in particular, and the strategies that you're seeing on the floor right now?
Oh, like you say, it's probably one of the things that's really driving me in this industry is because of that reason. It's somebody comes in and, like you say, SUV, car, truck. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's 3 clues right there. Okay. SUV. Okay. We got We got some options over here, used, we got some options over here. You gotta know the direction to guide them in, and then it makes that process that much more efficient, So
yeah, because I mean, look, we have to hand the puck over. We have to, it's like the sale's done. The manager's got it. There's a handover to the manager. There's a handover to the F&I department. And, we don't want this to feel clunky. And, we want this to be smooth, right? I mean, a well-oiled team, a hockey team, can move that puck from one side of the ring down to the other a very smooth, flawless way. And I feel like with dealerships, we don't spend enough time kind of mapping out how we're moving that puck from one side of the ring to the other. And what team members need to be in what place to do so. It's, if you think of kind of the traditional, sales format, there's these huge valleys and there's huge lulls of energy and excitement. And it's like, come back from the test drive. Okay, Mr. Customer, please just go ahead and sit in that seat for a little bit. I'm going to disappear for 10 minutes into that magic office back there called the sales manager's office. All right, I'm going to be back there for about maybe between 5 to 10 minutes. You won't know what the hell I'm talking about by any means whatsoever. I'm going to come out with a piece of paper that will have little to almost no explanation of how the hell I actually achieved these numbers. And then I'm assumed to try to build that off, right? Now, look, I know there are some dealerships that are much better than that. That's a general statement. I'm not saying you guys do that. But I mean, it's this I'm just identifying these huge valleys and these huge mountains. It kind of gets a little crazy, right? So it's cool. It's cool that you're able to see that you have this experience in hockey and that you're able to, kind of see how a lot of those strategies can correlate with our space. Is there, being in the industry for 4 months, I understand that you're still consuming and learning and wanting to, add more to your arsenal, your education. Is there anything that maybe I can help with, anything I can assist with?
I think so. Jason, you probably heard the term before too, but what do you do about the tire kicker?
The tire kicker?
Yeah. How do you?
What do you do with a tire kicker? That's a good one, right?
Yeah. How do you sit him down eventually? And
I remember the first time I heard that terminology. Here's one thing that I'll find in our industry is that we have very funny sayings. Our usage of 3-letter acronyms are insane. Our usage of 4-letter words are quite high. But yeah, it's like tire kicker, ups. What is something? It's just there's so many different funny terminologies that as an industry we have come up with. So I think you got to think of it in the beginning it's just kind of what is a tire kicker in the first place,
yeah.
Right? And a tire kicker is someone that does have some interest. Otherwise, they wouldn't be kicking the tire. Right. That's the way I've always looked at it, right? People have always kind of looked at it in kind of a negative way. Oh, it's just a tire kicker.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a hell of a lot better. I would take a tire kicker over just sitting there staring out the window.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Every single tire kicker has some small or larger level of interest in whatever that product is. So, I'll tell you what, I have made it my goal when I was in sales, all right, to really bring that experience and my dedication to want to serve another person and my education and understanding about the product to every single customer consistently. See, same thing in sports, right? It is your consistent efforts that bring you those results, right? This, right? When players are inconsistent, right, their results are also inconsistent. So our efforts need to be consistent no matter what kind of customer it is. Now, I've done this, and the way I look at it is look, they may not be buying a car today. In fact, they may not even be ever buying a car, ever, right? They're just one of those individuals that like to kick tires, physically, just kick tires. But what I can do is I can turn that person into an ambassador for me, okay? I'm going to give them the experience that I give every single one of my clients out there, no matter who it is. All right. And I've had this where I've done this with tire kickers, but I've now turned them into personal ambassadors for me. so that when they're at work and they're standing around the water cooler, all right, and somebody says, oh, you know what, I think I got to replace that family minivan. I'm thinking about going in with an SUV or something. Then that tire kicker will go, you know what, I know a guy. Yeah, I had this amazing experience with this guy. His name was Terry, super cool guy. He showed me this Chevy Equinox. It was absolutely amazing. You know what? Let me give you his contact information. You should reach out to him. So I think what it is that, salespeople have to not look at customers as transactions, but look at them as relationships.
Great point.
And relationships can just develop. They just develop over time. And, even if I kind of look at it the same way as like when I was dating, I was like, the girl I was talking to at the bar may not be the one I go on the date with, but hey, she's going to have a positive experience with me. She's going to tell her friends. So when I go back over there to talk to the entire group, right, they're going to be like, hey, this guy was actually pretty nice.
That's right.
So I think when it comes to tire kickers, that's what I would say is that no different than what you have done in hockey is that your efforts should always be consistent. Therefore, your results will always be consistent. Don't get jaded by the other guys. Like just ignore them, right? I mean, you're playing your game, and they may not be at the same level as you're gonna play because you have that built-in ability and that built-in experience to play the game consistently. So I would push you. Don't let anybody else jade you. Just keep being consistent in those efforts. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Did you give me an example of a tire kicker? Did you have one recently?
Got a few in town.
You got a few, or they're consistent. They consistently come in to kick tires.
But you're right though too, and every one of them I've had a pretty positive experience. Just again, letting them get to know me and me getting to know them, and always think positive, and don't worry if they leave and go back home. And because the famous saying is usually, I want to drive that two-wheel drive Chevy, Terry. We take a camper to Florida every winter, but the wife never comes in, and then by the time you go through the whole process, I just got to go home and talk to the wife, and then you won't see him for another 6 months. Just like, okay.
No, that'll happen. But the cool thing is what he's going to do during those 6 months.
Yeah.
Did you leave enough of a positive impression that even though it may take him 6 months, it may take him 6 years to buy a car? In fact, actually, I do have a customer on a Dodge Challenger that took 6 years to sell. I'm serious. It took six. Yeah. No, it was, Challenger. Yeah. 6 years to sell. Right. This particular guy had been coming into, his name was Steve. In fact, actually, you know what's funny? Me and Steve are still connected online.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I had started working with this Chrysler dealership, and this gentleman came in for a coffee, and everyone was just like, I saw the whole showroom just disappear. I'm like, where the hell did everybody go? And I go back to the sales manager's office, and sure enough, like everybody's standing there. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, Steve's here. He's getting his weekly coffee. Just ignore him. I'm like, well, who the hell is Steve? Well, Steve's been coming here for like years, and he comes in, talks about a Challenger every single week, never has bought one. Okay, well, I'll go talk to Steve. I mean, I got nothing better to do, right? Yeah. I mean, I think of it like this way, similar to hockey, right? If you want to be the best player in hockey, you need as much ice time as humanly possible.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right? Like any chance you get to get on the ice, you take it. I see people wake up at 4 a.m. so they can get ice time, and I'm just like, that kind of blows my mind. Hockey's not necessarily my game. Baseball is. But I appreciate the dedication in a huge way. And I'm just like, 4 a.m. to go get ice time? Like, geez. Okay. So it's the same way. Like any chance you get to talk to somebody, it's just time on the ice. It's time that you get to practice your craft or try something new or something along that line. So of course I went and talked to Steve, and I ended up talking to Steve, I think every week for 3 months. Okay. And at this point now, this guy was about 5 or 6 years into into it, right? I just come in towards the tail end of it. 1 week he comes in, his head's just down. I'm like, Steve, what's up? And he'd always sit down on my desk. And if I was with someone who was very professional, he would wait. He would wait for me. I said, Steve, I'm just a little busy. Can we wait a little bit? Absolutely. I'll just hang out. And he would sit down on my desk. And he came in and goes, Jason, I got some bad news. I said, what happened? He goes, well, my grandfather passed away. Oh man, that sucks, Steve. That's horrible. Yeah, it has. It's really rough, but you know what? There's a positive part that came out of that. I said, well, what is that? He goes, well, he left me some inheritance. I was like, no shit. I looked at Steve. I said, Steve, is this the day? Like, are we doing this? Is this the day? He goes, yeah, this is the day. We go right out to the lot. We grab this purple. I remember it was a purple SRT 8 Challenger, and buys it on the spot. No, just nothing. There was just like, I want that one, Jason. Can you write it up? That was it. There was no negotiations. There was no talking. There was just like the day had finally come. No, that may have never happened. The day may have never come. That was a great story because that actually it did happen. And I was able to sell him a car. But at the end of the day, I still looked at it as an opportunity just to have ice time and continue to work on my craft. So embrace those tire kickers.
Absolutely. No, good point. Thank you.
Because they love talking to other tire kickers too.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah. What else have you been running into being new in the business?
Gosh. God, just a whirlwind of stuff, can't really pinpoint anything.
Well, I'll give you one. How are you doing with building your personal brand? You're 4 months into the business. So you don't have a database of customers to work off of. All right. So there's only going to be so many new customers coming in through the door.
Right.
So what are you doing right now to create your own funnel of individuals?
Basically, Terry's tips of the day.
I love those Terry's tips of the day, by the way.
I do one every day. I try to either, spotlight a video or a vehicle, to do a walk around to show people what we have on the lot that maybe are not going to come in. They're in the area. They're on Facebook, or show the latest and greatest new technology. And like say, if we've got a heavy duty coming in pickup truck, then how many cameras are on it and how to work them and the views and things like that.
I saw your last one was with the radio. You were talking about just kind of the backup camera options and cool features that were in it. It was well done. How are those going, by the way? Excuse me.
Actually, very well received, Jason, because my wife and I, before we got married, went down to the courthouse to get our marriage license, and the clerk yelled out my name. Terry Mitro come to the front. There was 3 girls standing behind me, and they said, "You're Terry Mitro?" And I said, "Yeah." Follow your tips of the day every day.
That's cool though. But that's a really good point. You don't actually ever know who's watching. I got caught I got caught the other day. Someone walked right up to me and goes, "You don't know who I am, but I've been watching your stuff for years and I absolutely love what you do." And it's like, I went back to look up their name, see we've been connected for a long time. Never once engaged with a single piece of my content. Not once, not even one time. Right. But she was able to name off multiple pieces of, I love when you did this. And when you talked to that person, I was like, holy crap. So you don't actually know who's ever watching. So, I think what you've done so far as literally just getting into the routine, because coming from your background, I'm sure you clearly embrace routine, is creating that content. Now, where are you distributing that content? I see you on LinkedIn. Where else are you at?
Facebook.
Okay, so it's LinkedIn and Facebook is where you're finding, right? Where are you finding the most amount of engagement?
Probably Facebook.
Okay, and that.
What helps though, Jason, too, though, quite a bit is, again, went all the way through school here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And again, hockey is a big part of the town.
Yes.
My family is a big hockey family. But leaving for 18 years, now, this is the important thing. Now after 18 years, I'm kind of reintroducing myself back to the community.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think, though, without the videos, that I would have the progression. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because now people are starting to say, okay, Terry Mitro, yep, okay, I know who he is. Those have helped in that area. And also, I have to give like a shout out to two people. You know the one, Jeff over in Sioux, Ontario.
Jeff's awesome.
He really helped me.
Yeah, he pushed you. That's good.
Yeah, he pointed me in the right direction. And then Maxine Anderson, who's with Smith and Company Real Estate.
Okay, cool.
She's also been a big mentor with all the social media stuff, because she does it too with homes. So those two people have really steered me in the right direction, and it has helped tremendously.
So Terry, how many videos have you done so far?
Boy, one a day.
Yep.
For a year.
So wow, you've done over 360, almost 365 videos, right?
Yep.
So
and I'm not saying that. I'm not.
No. I actually want to make that a point, right? To people that are watching or listening to this, right? Is
and
that
I tell people too, though, Jason, too? Don't, because again, I had a hard time jumping in a car. It took about probably 5 to 6 takes.
The first time you did it?
Do one video.
Yeah. So I'm curious. The first video you did you post it?
I did.
See, there we go. See, I think that's the most important part, right?
That's probably the most important video. Once you get past the first one, the next one gets a little easier.
Yeah, but you see, it must have came a little more natural to you, just because being comfortable with uncomfortable. You have to do that in sports a lot, right?
Cool.
It's just something you have to do. So I mean, do you feel like that's something that, when you made the decision to start shooting video, that was a big part of it, just knowing that it was going to be uncomfortable?
Hey, what though? I mean, you're hitting on all cylinders with this stuff, because even as a goalie, you're always uncomfortable for the game. And when the time's ticking down, that you got to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it might not be the best performance, but it could be the best performance of the night too. But same with the videos. I mean, hey, it's showtime. Here we go. If it's good, great. If it's not so good, fine, but at least it's out there. People might get a chuckle.
Yep.
Anything. And I've got a lot of that too, though. Terry, we love it. We love your accent. We love the way you talk, just stuff like that. I mean,
well, because it's authentic. There's passion in it,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not you're not. Look, Terry, and Jeff does such an amazing job at this too. Is that you're not being a persona, right? What we're seeing in the video is the same Terry that I get in person. There's not these two different Terrys, right. and customers, no matter what the content matter is. I mean, you could be talking about travel, you could be talking about sports, you could be talking. It's authentic. It's you. That's just who you are, and that's how people can relate.
The other thing is too, Jason, is I've gotten people too, past customers, that get into a vehicle, and they might be in the older generation.
Yep.
Not too familiar. They feel comfortable enough even to say, message me, Terry, can you do a video on this? I'm having a hard time working this in my car. Can you do a video on that? Absolutely. And that might be my idea for the day, is just get on that. So yeah.
So you're taking those real-time kind of experiences, those real-time conversations, and saying, if someone's asking a question about this, I should be putting content out about it. That's a great strategy. Again, you found kind of a strategy there. It's like, well, if someone's asking the question, I should answer the question.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's cool because you're also learning about all the products. So it's kind of like we get to learn about the products. We get to learn about the technology, but we get to learn it through Terry's eyes. And Terry's got a passion and authenticity. And Terry, you're new to the industry. It doesn't come off as, I don't think you've ever once kind of come off as like, I'm the professional and you got to listen to me. It's more like, hey guys, check this out. I just found this out myself and this is pretty badass. Like, take a look, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yep. I think what it is for people out there, and I encourage everyone, check out Terry on LinkedIn. You got to check out Terry's Facebook page and watch through his videos and just, you know, it's the routine. I mean, I keep going back to it, but it's just so insanely important. I mean, I see people that get into this and after the 10th video, they're like, nah, I didn't do anything for me. I'm done. You're over 360 videos into it.
Yeah.
Like, you have no intention of slowing down or stopping.
No.
You know?
It's actually kind of my go-to. I mean, people actually kind of know me now after being like, you know, 8 months into sales is, you know, Terry does this thing and, you know, it's like, okay, cool. Continue to do it. So,
but it's cool because you know, in the past, before social media, okay, for you to get that kind of awareness and for you to get that kind of attention, you had to spend years in the business to get in front of that many people. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, the fact that you can put a video out there and get, you know, several hundred views. All right. Well, for you to sit in front of several hundred people, you know, could take you months to get in front of that many people, but you get to do it daily. All right. On a single shot. And that's what I'm trying to push people. Like, people think they need to get into this and they're going to have, you know, a million followers. It's like, no, you don't need a million followers. You know, you just need that handful of people that actually give a crap about what you're watching. I don't care if it's 10 people watching or 10,000 people watching. You know, it only takes one to make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When did you, because you've been at this for a year, when did you really start to, excuse me, when did you start to really kind of feel the return on your investment? Like, when did you, like, was it a couple months in? Was it 4 months in? Was it last week? You know, when did you start to see that return on that time that you were investing in these daily tips?
It would have been probably last March.
Okay.
That's when the momentum started to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it took, again, so August, September, October, November, December, January, probably 6 months. And then all of a sudden, boom, you know, once I got more familiar with the product, once I got more comfortable with me actually doing them. Yep. And then you start talking to people in the community, in the area, you know, and you're getting some positive feedback from them. So, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, right around the end of winter, I took a vacation week to Florida with my family, and that was probably my best month ever. It was right there. And then just now it's great, you know, great for me.
That's,
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, everyone out there that maybe hasn't watched any of your videos, the content's kind of evolved. So, you know, what right now, like, the most amount of your videos is on what topic matter?
You know, like I said, it's probably the most popular vehicles for our area. It's probably my number one focus. And then for, you know, we're kind of a retirement community. Mm-hmm. So to dive into the settings of the vehicle, into that screen of your vehicle, because every car now has a backup camera. Yep. You know, and every car has Bluetooth and a lot of safety features. To be able to dive into that screen to show people how to get in there and what does what is probably like my number one focus. You know,
well, so you're trying to build your brand. Okay. It is, and I'm curious, is that kind of your intention? Do you want to be known as Terry the tech guy? Like, if you got if when it comes to GM products, you got a question, you got to ask Terry. Is that what the goal and objective is for you? I'm curious.
You know, that word tech, though, like the tech guru, might be a little extreme right now at this point. But
yeah.
To give people basically the Cliff Note version, you know, to get them kind of going, that'd probably be me. You know,
Well, I think what's cool is I would actually, what I would push you to do is actually expand out some of your content from the vehicles to the dealership, to F&I, to warranties, to service. Look, I think the cool thing is Terry, is that you're a very, very authentic person. You're just Terry. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You're getting what you're getting. Either you like it or you don't like it. I don't really give a crap. It's just, I'm Terry, deal with it, you know? And I think that resonates with a lot of individuals, right? I think what is your biggest opportunity here is what I see as a consumer is that I get to learn about, the products. I want to be able to learn about the dealership, the background of the dealership, the why you do it. I want to learn more about you, right? And really kind of open that up so that people get to learn through your eyes. You know, the cool thing is that you're new to this industry. So you are on a path of discovery. And, you know, you kind of want to say, come along with me. You know, come along with me on this discovery path. Why I learn about extended warranties and rust proofing and accessories and, you know, the do's and don'ts of financing a car and why you should lease versus why you shouldn't, you know, when should you finance? When shouldn't you finance? You know, should I use a line of credit to buy my vehicle? I mean, the cool thing is that you haven't been in the business long enough to be jaded.
Oh yeah. Right.
So you know, it's just, you just have this amazing positive attitude and positive nature about all this stuff. And for me, it sounds exciting to want to learn about this industry through you. And it's one of the reasons I like to watch is because it's the energy, it's the excitement.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I would push you to keep doing that. It looks like our time is almost up here, but before we do so, is there anything that I can help with?
A ton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lay it on me. Just go ahead and start throwing me questions. What do you got for me?
I mean, like you say, there's just a lot of, like you say, you're dealing with a lot of individuals on a day-to-day basis, a lot of personalities, you know, and, you know, I think what you've helped me with the most is to let me stay true to me. Don't just coming through the door.
Yeah.
You know, and give everybody a positive experience the best you can, you know, because it is about the experience, you know, at the end of the day, you know, and it should be a positive one, you know.
And that is literally should be what your goal and objective is. Look, if the byproduct of giving them a positive experience is you get to sell them a car, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's great, right?
Yep. But
it shouldn't necessarily be your goal and objective. That goal and objective should to bring that positive experience. You know, I have had a customer that never even bought a car from me. All right. They ended up buying it from they bought a different product. They needed more towing capabilities or whatever it was. I don't remember what it was, right? But their experience with me was so positive that they've actually referred me customers over the years, yet they had never bought a car from me. You know, so I think salespeople have to stop looking at this at a transaction and look at this as that you have this great opportunity to create a tremendous amount of relationships.
Yep.
And what you do with them is going to make the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, man, I keep pushing you to doing what you're doing. I love watching you. Keep putting out Terry's tips of the day.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, bring some more of the dealership in it. Bring some more of you in. I want to see more of you, and I want to hear more about that background. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the dealership and more about, you know, your local area, because I don't know anything about your local area. It'd be great if you could put some pieces out there, you know, showing me this and that in different areas. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I really appreciate it. Hey, for everybody out there that are watching to this right now, would love to connect with you. What is the best way to connect with you?
Probably just Terry Anthony Mitro on my Facebook page, and then LinkedIn, and you know, that's probably the best.
And come see you at the dealership. Go ahead, give us the information on the dealership so people can look that up too.
Oh, okay. That's RODENROTH Motors in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, off 3 Mile Road, Mackinac Trail.
Yeah, you guys heard it here. If you're in that area and you're looking to buy a car, you need to go see my man, Terry.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Hey, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Terry. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Made my day.
Have a great day.
You too.
We covered a bunch of great topics today. What stood out most to you? Be sure to let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the post and share it to keep the conversation going. You can follow Jason on all social media platforms by following Strategy with Jason. You can find him pretty well everywhere you can share content. I hope we were able to get you thinking. And until the next time, this has been Nathan with Digital Dealership Solutions. Have a great day.